What's up YouTube, this is Tubedigga. In this video I'm going to take an in-depth look at the various Q-Link modes in the AKAI MPC Live. So what are the Q-Link modes in the AKAI MPC Live? Let's first press our menu button and go to Q-Link Edit, and first off we'll see it's set to screen mode. We'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to go from left to right instead and explain all these different modes first of all. So project mode allows you to mix and match all different types of parameters project wide. So let's first press our Q-Link button and you'll scroll through the different banks of Q-Links. Let's stay in our first bank. So your first red LED should be lit underneath your Q-Link button. And let's just tap on the bottom Q-Link knob. As you can see, I've tapped that and volume has appeared here. Okay, so our first knob, this bottom knob in our first bank, this one here, is currently controlling the volume of outputs 1 and 2. We can change that by selecting that field, moving our data wheel and choosing the different outputs. Let's keep it at outputs 1 and 2. As you can see, it's gone off now because we selected a different type of parameter, so now we have to reset that to what we want. Okay, so let's choose that to be the volume of the entire output of the MPC. I'm just going to trigger a pad. As you can see, I'm controlling that now and I'm turning my bottom physical knob. Okay, if we tap the second knob up or tap on the screen here, that's currently set to pan. Let's change that to something different. So let's change it to a program parameter. Okay, once you tap that, you get a different set of options underneath. Is it a mixer parameter you want to change or an actual program parameter you want to change? So let's choose a program parameter, but first we have to load a program in because as you can see, it's not looking at any program in this field. To do that, we highlight that and we have to press the data wheel to access the menu that comes up here on the left, and then just scroll down and select whatever program you want and then hit the data wheel again. Okay, you can also just double tap that field and that menu will come up. It won't respond to just a turn of your data wheel knob. You can actually change it once a program is loaded in. Okay, so now as you can see, we're in program mode. We've selected our program and now we get options to change that to a program parameter, which would be something like the master semi-tune for the entire program or fine tune. You just get those two options. Or it could be a mixer parameter, which would be the entire volume for that program, or the entire panning for that entire program. Okay, mute, solo, and sends. Okay, let's go back to program. Let's change the type to pad. Okay, so now we can select an exact pad that we want to set a parameter for this second knob. Okay, let's keep it at pad 1. And as you can see down here, we can now change the parameter of that particular pad. You get access to all your program parameters for each individual pad. So let's just choose tuning. So now our second knob is controlling the tuning of our first pad. And we've still got the entire output volume on our first knob. So let's just put another one on our third knob there. Let's change that also to, actually let's try an audio track. So it's loaded our default audio track and let's just change that to volume. Turn that all the way down. If I go to menu now, channel mixer, use the data wheel to scroll through, and then we can see that our audio track is at the lowest volume setting. That's what's going on in the background with our Q-Link. Let's now tap our fourth knob in our first bank, which is this top one here, and let's change that to program parameter again, and let's set it as an insert parameter. Now we haven't got an insert loaded, so this isn't going to take effect, so we're going to have to go to menu, channel mixer, go back to our programs view for the mixer. Let's choose the dream program. Double tap inserts, load an effect. Let's just load the compressor. Let's go back to menu, Q-Link edit, and then we'll get access to, let's actually change, the program needs to be changed to Dream. That's where we loaded that insert effect. And now insert 1, we will get the individual parameters for that compressor we loaded. And that's now on our top Q-Link. So we've set up 4 knobs there that are controlling project-wide parameters. Now let's look at program. Program is different in the way that it's just looking at the program and the pads within it. On my first track, I've got this Dream program, and the second track, I've got program 001. So let's go back to Q-Link edit. Let's just set the first Q-Link knob, which is our bottom knob in our first bank, to a program parameter, and yeah, maybe a pad parameter, and let's change pad A1 to tuning, okay? So we can now change the tuning of pad 1 from our first Q-Link. But what's interesting is that you can go up to your second track, go back to the Q-Link edit, and you'll notice that our first Q-Link is set to something completely different, in this case send 1, because the program's different. So no matter what program you're in, these parameters will change depending on what parameters you've set up your knobs to control for each individual program, which is really flexible. So let's go back to our first track, back to Q-Link edit. Let's tap our second knob up and choose another pad parameter. Let's choose a different pad. I'm going to actually mirror the layout of the pad, so I'm going to choose my pad number 5, okay, to be controlled by Q-Link 5, and let's choose the parameter to be filter cutoff, and there you go. So we can control the filter cutoff of pad 5 with this second Q-Link, or Q-Link 5 rather, and the tuning of pad 1, okay, and so on and so forth. So that's what program mode does. As you can see, now this grey highlighted area is highlighting it horizontally, and if you press your Q-Link button, it will be scrolling vertically, okay? It says assign 16 parameters to edit the current pad in a program, okay? So that means that you would mix and match all different parameters there, depending on which ones you want available to you, okay? And then whatever pad you select, those parameters can be changed for each individual pad. So I'm pressing pad 1. Let's open up the filter cutoff. Okay. But then I can choose another pad, and those settings default back to where they are for that actual pad. So what this is good for is a quick way to sculpt your sounds rather than being in the program edit mode and jumping between these different pages. So you essentially select all your favorite parameters and then they're just applied per pad. That's how I would interpret the pad scene mode, is a quick access way to sculpt and balance your sounds just by pressing a pad, and then you've got all your parameters grouped rather than, you know, doing what I said before and flicking between all the different tabs. Q-Link grid mirrors the pad layout. Assign 1 parameter for all Q-Links. It's similar to pad scene, but you're changing just 1 parameter per pad. So let's set all the levels for our different pads. For example, say we were happy with those, then we can just move up to the pan of those and start mucking about with the pan. So again, it's another convenient way to edit your program without having to sort of faff about between different tabs within that program. We've got it currently set to mixer. We can select program parameters, and again you get all your individual program parameters, and you can literally just flick through those as you go and just go, right, well I want to level out all my LFOs or change all the different waves of my LFOs from here. Hopefully that makes sense. The last option is screen. Now screen mode, it says Q links are fixed to the controls of the mode you're in. So you don't get any options to change these. These are just governed by whatever particular area of the MPC Live that you're currently in. So as an example, if we go to Program Edit, my fourth red LED is lit underneath my Q link. If I press the Q link button, it won't do anything because the sends are the only things that I can use the Q links to change here. As you can see, this is the top knob, second one down, third, bottom. Likewise, in the Samples tab, you can use the first bank of Q links. So the first LED should be lit, and then you can change the start point of your samples. You'll see it's highlighted gold, and there's a little Q as well to signify that that's a Q linkable parameter that you can change. In the second bank, you can change the endpoints of your samples. So the top knob is the largest increments. The second knob down is even smaller increments, and it's even finer tuning in the third knob, and the finest tuning to get really macro with your sample editing there. Another example to give, a good one, is the main page. So you wouldn't have a clue as to what parameters can be changed there because there isn't any gold box. If you press and hold your Q-Link button, it will show you what current mode you're in. So we want to see what's going on with the screen mode. And there you can see we can change the sequence tempo, sequence length, sequence loop start, and sequence loop end in the first bank. If we go to the second bank, that's now highlighted. We've got current track, track length, track velocity, track transpose. Press my Q-Link again and press and hold. Then we've got the third bank, program level, program pan, metronome enable, metronome level. And the fourth bank, press and hold again. Now that's highlighted. We've got time correct, swing, shift timing, and time correct strength. So if we go to the sampler, for example, press and hold Q-Link, we can see we can adjust the amount of time we record, or the amount of minutes, seconds, and we've just got access to the threshold, which is this control here. That basically determines, just as an extra little tip, I'm going to whisper, right? And as you can see, my voice isn't going above this arrow. I'm going to arm the sampler, and it won't record until I talk loud. That's what that does. So for this last example, I've created a new Q-Link setup in a new program. They're just simple pads with a couple of layers to create chords and drones. And as you can see, I've set up this Q-Link patch in program mode. So my first two columns are controlling parameters on pad 1. We've got filter cutoff, just keep an eye on there, that's the pad. Filter resonance, LFO wave, delay time, LFO to pan, LFO rate, and this last one's off. Likewise for these two columns, so they're controlling various parameters applicable to pad 2. We've got filter cutoff again, we've got layer 1 sample pan, we've got dry wet balance for the frequency shifter, and we've got the frequency for the frequency shifter. We've also got dry wet balance for the decimator, we've got the decimation amount, and we've got a rate. So I'm going to be quite subtle with those, but I just wanted to bring them in because they're kind of more interesting effects than some of the others. So I'm going to create a sequence. It's all going to be recorded on the fly. I'm going to put my MPC Live into write automation mode. Just sit back and relax and listen to this play out, and that's going to be it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, share. This is Tubedigga, and I'm out.